Check one, check two. Good, we're here. Check one, check two. Arnaldo, are we live? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so nice for those of you who are here in person, but also those of you who are here watching us on live stream. It's a real treat to be able to share Bim Bom Shabbat, even in the midst of this crazy Omicron crisis. We're really happy that you're here. I want to welcome everyone. I know that you can't all participate at once, but it'll at least be able to follow along with us and enjoy and sing. And I'm waving to all of you out there in live stream land, letting you know that I love you and I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. So we're going to start with a little bit of welcoming in. As long as we're welcoming in people from all over the city, let's also welcome in our famous dinosaur friend who's always joining us for Shabbat. There's a dinosaur knocking at my door, knocking 1, 2, 3. There's a dinosaur knocking at my door, and he's come to spend Shabbat with me. First we light the candles, then we drink the wine, then we taste the challah. It always tastes so fine. There's a dinosaur knocking at my door, knocking 1, 2, 3. There's a dinosaur knocking at my door, and she's come to spend Shabbat with me. We're so happy that you're here. You, the dinosaur, and all of our friends. Hello to everyone who I know is watching, especially to Max, who I know is happy for his January birthday. We'll come up to that in just a moment when we get there. In the meantime, let's make sure that if we're doing Bim Bom Shabbat, we need to make sure we're doing Bim Bom. So get your bimmers and your bombers ready to go as we sit there and we say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bim Bom, Bim, Bim, Bim Bom. Bim, 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 Bim Bom. Bim Bom, Bim, Bim, Bim Bom. Bim, 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 bom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Let me hear you guys. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Get your bimmer bombers ready. Bim, bom, bim, 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 bom, bim, 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 bom. Bim, bom, bim, 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 bom. Bim, 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 Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Now it's time to welcome in the Shabbat Bride. I want you to imagine what you think the Shabbat Bride looks like. The only thing we know is that she's dressed in a beautiful white dress, just like I have a white shirt on, and my famous Temple Aliyah preschool, the one where I taught preschool shirt. It's such a delight to see people coming in their Shabbat whites and to feel like everything is beautiful and clean and healthy and safe, which is what we hope is everyone's experience this Shabbat. So let's welcome in the Shabbat Bride by singing Lecha Dodi, Come In, O Beautiful Bride, Come In, and get ready to go open the door in your house, if you're near one, to let the Shabbat Bride into the room. So we sing together. Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabla, Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabla, Shamor Zachor B'dibur Echad Ishmianu El HaMyuchad Adonai Echad U'Shmo Echad Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad L'Shemo Tiferet Back to the chorus. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabla. Now turn toward the door. I'm going to face this way toward our door. You guys stand up and go open up your door as we sing Bo'i V'Shalom, and we let the Shabbat Bride into our house and into our life. Bo'i V'Shalom, Ateret Bala, Gam Be'Simcha U'Vetzola, Toch Emunei Am Segula, Toch Emunei Am Segula, Bo'i Chala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabla. We hope that you welcome the Shabbat Bride into your house and that you feel like everything is ready to go. Let's start with the Baruch Hu, where we begin our service. You guys know how to do your kneel and bends right now. We'll get ready. I'm going to turn the mic around so it stays with me. And we sing together to get our service off to the radio. Stand up where you are, get your knees ready, and let's hear you sing with all your heart. 1, 2, ready, go. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. So first it's just me as I go. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Let me hear you guys. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach. Yisrael. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. You guys can be seated. I'm going to turn the microphone back around. And it's time for us to all do Shema together. And I always tell people that when we say Shema, it's our chance to imagine that the world is as good as it could possibly be. And if it's not, then we have to think about what we can do when Shabbat is over to make the world a better place. So I want you to close your eyes and think of two things. One, what's one way that things are really good, and what's one way that we can make them even better? One thing that's really good, one thing that we can do even better. Close your eyes. If you want, you can place your shin over your eyes, the three fingers that look like the shin, and we sing together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Take your three fingers and turn them into just one as we sing together. There is only one God. 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 In Hebrew, Yesh rak Elohim echad. 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 And this week, more than any other, we start to tell the story of the 10 plagues and the Jewish people leaving Egypt and going across the sea. The first time that they got across the sea, they were so happy. After all, they had been slaves for hundreds of years. 400 years they were slaves. That means many, many children and their children's children and their children's children's children and their children's 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 children. And all those people were slaves for so many years. When they crossed the Red Sea for the first time and the Egyptians weren't behind them anymore, they realized for the first time in 400 years, they were free. And this is what they sang. If you know the Yabba Bim Bim Boms that go with this, feel free to join me in. They're really easy and fun. All you need to do is sing along with them. So they go a little something like this. Get your Yabba Bim Bim Boms ready. Yabba ba bim bim bom, yabba ba ba bim bom, yabba ba bim bim bom, yabba ba ba bim bom. I da 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 da, yabba ba ba bim bom. I da 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 da, yabba ba ba bim bom. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Let me hear your Yabba Bim Bim Boms at home. 1, 2, ready, go. Yabba ba bim bim bom, yabba ba ba bim bom, yabba ba bim bim bom, yabba ba ba bim bom. I da 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 da, yabba ba ba bim bom. I da 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 da, yabba ba ba bim bom. And so we're able to thank God for being free, for being able to do what we want and not have to be slaves for other people. It is a huge blessing. But there are so many things that we're thankful for besides just our freedom. And that's why we always have a chance to say the Amidah, where we say thank you to God, especially on Shabbat, for all of the things that we're grateful for. And most importantly, we say thank you for giving us a Shabbat, a day when we can be with family, a day when we can be safe, a day when we can be healthy, All those things are so important. So what I want you to do is to stand up in your place. I'm already standing, but you guys can stand up too. And we're going to do our usual Ananana song before we do the Amidah, and then I'll give you guys a chance to do some quiet prayer for just a few seconds. Let's sing together. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tiftach. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tiftach. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatech. A little faster this time. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tiftach. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehila. One last time, really fast. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tiftach. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatech. Really slow this time. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tiftach. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Close your eyes. Think of the way that you want to say thank you to God for something really special in your life. Think of it for just a little bit. Close your eyes, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and sit down, but don't rush. You can take your time talking to God. God's always there to listen. And I'll give you some quiet music while we do. One of our prayers that we always say is a prayer for peace. And peace is shalom. Oh, say shalom, Bim Bom Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Imru, Amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Okay, this week, as I said before, is always the time when we tell the story of the Israelites crossing the sea, and it gives me a chance to tell one of my favorite stories that I do every year, the story of the man named Nachshon. The way the story goes is this. When the Israelites got to leave Egypt, they left in a hurry. They were running as fast as they could to get out of Egypt. But when they got to the Sea of Reeds, they thought they were stuck. In front of them was the big giant Sea of Reeds, and they didn't know how to get across. That would have been a problem enough, but then they got to hear coming up behind them. That was the clapping of the sound of horses' hooves. The horses were coming from Pharaoh's army. So in front of them was the big giant sea, and behind them were all the horses. And they looked at Moses and they said, Moses, what are we going to do? We can't go forward because the sea is in front of us. And if we go backwards, we'll be running right into Pharaoh's army. We're goners for sure. Moses got very worried and said, don't worry. I will do what we can. I know that God has said God will take care of us. I believe everything will be all right. And Moses went up to the rock in front of the sea and put his hands apart to try to make it part open. And he went like this. And you know what happened? Nothing. The sea was still there, and now behind them, even louder, were the sound of the horses' hooves. Now the people were extra scared. Moses, you've got to do something. The water is still in front of us, and Pharaoh's soldiers are even closer. Moses said, I know that God said God would take care of us. Let me try this again. Climbed up on the rock, put his hands out for everyone to see, to split the sea. And you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing at all. The sea was still there in front, and now the horses' hooves were getting louder and louder and louder. The people said, Moses, we're done. This is over. They're never going to get out of this alive. Everyone began to cry and get upset. They thought that this was the end of the Jews for sure. Everyone except one person. That man's name was Nachshon. Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon first walked into the sea. Still, nothing happened. The water got up over his ankles. Still nothing happened. The water got up to his ribs. Nothing happened. The water got up to his shoulders. Nothing happened. The water got up to his chin. Still nothing happened. Then the water got up over his mouth. Barely he could still breathe. He didn't have to wear a mask, so it only covered his mouth. His nose was just barely there. Still, nothing happened. And as Nachshon walked into the water, he said the magic words that we sang before. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Who is like you, O God? Nachshon knew that God was going to come through. So he walked just until his nose went under the water and he couldn't breathe anymore. And just when he went down below, when the water went over his nose and he thought he was done, boom, the seas parted. God just wanted to know that there was at least one person who believed enough to know that everything was going to be okay and didn't want to wait to see it. Nachshon had such incredible faith. Even though he couldn't be sure something was right, he knew it in his heart and his head that everything was going to be fine. And then, as soon as Nachshon's nose went under and the seas parted, the Jewish people rushed across. They ran to the other side of the sea, and they were saved for years to come. Moses was so grateful that Nachshon had done what he did to show the kind faith in everyone and to be able to know that God was still there to take care of the Jewish people. So, as our closing piece, I want to make sure that we get to acknowledge all the January birthdays that are out there. I know that Max, especially, I'm pointing at you because you're turning 5 this month. So I hope that everything is wonderful and happy. If there's anyone else who's got a January birthday, shout it out right now. I'm so excited for all of you. And I want to wish you guys a Yom Huledet Sameach. Let's sing to you in first English, then Hebrew. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, January birthdays. Happy birthday to you. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Next month, we hope that when we come back for our February birthdays, everything will be back and okay. We'll be past this Omicron craziness. I'm looking really forward to seeing it. So you know that you've got a February birthday. Make sure you're here on Friday. I believe it'll be February 4th. We'll be all set and ready for you guys, and we can't wait. We're starting slowly to come out of this craziness. So with that in mind, I want also to give you guys a chance to bless all of your children. So if their parents aren't there with you right now, go find them. Make sure that they come in really quickly. And I want them to place their hands on your heads. So tell them, Mom and Dad, put your hands on my head so that you can give me a blessing, just like this. So if you're blessing over children who are boys, you say, I'll give you a chance to repeat after me, Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim Vechi Menashe. May God make you like the brothers Ephraim and Menashe, the two brothers who never fought in the Torah, or the two brothers in the Torah who never fought. If you have girls, place your hands on their heads and say, Yesimech Elohim Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God make you like our mothers,